Before there was a nation, before borders, before maps carried names, the land that would become the United States existed on its own terms. Vast forests stretched endlessly, rivers carved deep paths through soil untouched by industry, and plains moved with the wind as they had for centuries. Across this land lived complex societies with systems of governance, trade networks, and cultural knowledge passed through memory and experience rather than paper. Life followed seasonal rhythms, and survival depended on balance with the environment. This was not an empty world waiting to be discovered. It was a living one, already shaped by human presence long before newcomers arrived. The first outsiders did not arrive with understanding. They came driven by survival, ambition, and the need to claim. Their arrival disrupted systems they did not recognize. Initial contact was marked by confusion and cautious exchange, but imbalance appeared quickly. Invisible illness spread faster than conflict, dismantling entire communities before resistance could even form. Villages that had endured generations disappeared silently. This devastation reshaped the land long before open violence escalated, leaving regions weakened and vulnerable to expansion. A new concept was imposed upon the land: ownership. Boundaries were drawn where none had existed. Agreements were written in unfamiliar languages, and control was measured through paper rather than presence. Each promise took more territory, each broken agreement widened displacement. Resistance was reframed as threat, and defense was labeled defiance. Expansion followed a pattern that repeated across decades, driven by the belief that growth justified consequence. Forced movement, cultural erasure, and systemic control unfolded gradually but relentlessly as settlements along the eastern coastline grew into colonies. Survival camps transformed into centers of authority. Roads and ports connected resources to distant markets, and power concentrated rapidly. Wealth flowed upward, enforced by law and fear rather than consent. Labor systems expanded that stripped individuals of autonomy, reducing people to units of productivity. Families were separated, identities erased, and suffering normalized because it fueled economic growth. The colonies prospered, but stability rested on exploitation. Eventually, tension turned upward. Control imposed from afar ignited resentment among those who now considered the land their own. Taxes increased, restrictions tightened, and decisions were made by distant powers disconnected from daily realities. Ideas of independence gained strength in private meetings and public defiance. When conflict erupted, it was uneven and brutal. Poorly equipped forces faced disciplined power, and loss was constant. Yet determination reshaped outcomes, and a new nation declared itself into existence. Independence did not bring unity. The foundation of the new country was uneven, built on ideals that excluded many. Expansion accelerated westward, repeating old patterns under a new flag. Land was promised to settlers, infrastructure advanced rapidly, and railroads fractured landscapes. Existing communities were displaced again, treaties rewritten or ignored, and resistance suppressed. Opportunity flourished selectively, while loss became permanent for others. As the nation expanded, internal divisions deepened. Industrial regions moved toward mechanization and urban growth, while agricultural systems elsewhere depended on forced labor and rigid hierarchy. These opposing visions strained political compromise until fracture became unavoidable. Separation followed, and the nation turned on itself. Conflict spread through towns, fields, and families, leaving destruction without distance. Victory came through exhaustion rather than triumph, preserving unity at an immense cost. The aftermath failed to heal completely. Promises of reform faded, power restructured quietly, and inequality adapted rather than disappeared. Industrialization surged forward, transforming cities into centers of production and profit. Factories dominated skylines, workers labored in harsh conditions, and wealth accumulated in the hands of a few. Immigration reshaped urban life, creating dense neighborhoods filled with hope and hardship. The divide between prosperity and survival widened. Resistance grew as workers organized and demanded accountability. Progress emerged slowly, often met with force. As the nation entered a new century, its focus expanded outward. Global conflicts pulled it onto the world stage, reshaping industry, technology, and identity. War accelerated innovation and destruction alike, leaving deep scars while elevating national influence. Periods of prosperity followed, but stability proved fragile. Economic collapse returned, erasing savings and trust. Government intervention redefined its role in daily life, stabilizing systems while altering expectations. Another global conflict soon followed, larger and more destructive, reshaping international power structures. When it ended, the United States emerged dominant, with influence extending across politics, markets, and culture. Power brought new forms of tension. Global rivalry replaced open warfare, marked by constant readiness and fear. Resources poured into defense and technology, while surveillance expanded quietly. At home, demands for equality and accountability resurfaced. Protests reshaped laws and social norms, though resistance persisted. Progress advanced unevenly, reflecting the nation's unresolved contradictions. Late in the 20th century, technology transformed everything. Information moved instantly, privacy eroded gradually, and digital platforms reshaped communication and power. Economic growth returned but remained unstable, marked by rising costs and growing debt. Overseas engagements continued, leaving lasting domestic consequences. Public trust in leadership weakened as scandals and failures surfaced. A sudden national shock redefined priorities. Security became permanent, laws expanded rapidly, and oversight weakened. Control increased while freedom adjusted subtly. Financial collapse followed again, exposing systemic imbalance and deepening public frustration. Political identity hardened, debate fractured, and shared reality diminished. A global crisis later halted daily life entirely. Systems were tested, leadership questioned, and inequality exposed. Recovery followed uneven paths, accelerating automation and concentrating wealth further. Old debates resurfaced, demanding answers to long-standing questions about belonging, fairness, and control. Today, the United States exists as a nation of contradictions. It is powerful yet divided, innovative yet strained, influential yet uncertain. Its cities reflect progress and pressure side by side. The promise that once fueled expansion remains, shadowed by consequences that were never fully resolved. The story has no final chapter yet. It continues through choices, direction, and consequence, shaped by history that is not finished, but still unfolding.